Hi, it's great to be here with you. So in ThetaRay, we use very deep level of artificial intelligence to help very large organizations to deal with what we call unknown unknowns or unknown threats. But just to show you the problem first, I guess we're all familiar with this data. So in 2 years' time, we'll have 4 devices connected for each person on Earth. And by the way, we're growing the amount of data very fast. And I guess we all know that we feel it. But every 2 days we create more data than was created from the beginning of time till 2003. And banks, if we will look at banks, and Gary started, have all the data possible, plus additional data because there are KYC requirements, know your customers, so they can get even more data. And still you see that the amount of money they're losing is increasing with all those great systems. And it's, just look at the recent newspapers, Danske Bank CEO was fired. Today, Israeli Bank, Poalim, said that they will need to offset more money because there are claims about money laundering. Deutsche Bank, I think they will get $2 billion fine, and we can continue on and on and on. And the question we ask, how can it be that with all those great systems, availability of data, it looks like the amount of financial crime or cyber financial crime is just going up? And the answer is because the world of financial crime has totally changed. Today, nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, but today people don't come to a branch of a bank and shoot in there to steal money. It happens in Hollywood movies. But in reality, I put server somewhere in some remote country, the server steals 10 cents from your bank account, nobody complains. If I call this transaction, iTunes transaction, even if you think that you will waste your time to complain, you will not do it. But I can run artificial intelligence, if I'm a bad guy, it will do hundreds of millions of transactions, steal $20, $30 million, and then they just disconnect the link and disappear. That's it. Or governments do the same. North Korea, it's not a secret, they stole $81 million from Bank of Bangladesh through SWIFT network, and it's just one example. And sometimes it's just fraud. Just fraud. It's still bad, but in many cases it's money laundering, which is much more severe. Because money laundering means they use the money to finance terrorist activities, human trafficking, sex slavery, narco traffic. And today people think that about, or economists say that about 3 to 5% of world GDP is money laundering, which is about $2 to $3 trillion. And if we look at the world of financial institutions, we cover, of course, cryptocurrency, money laundering, ATM fraud. For those of you who have seen my previous presentation, I told people how to steal money from ATMs. If you want, I can tell you later. And of course, online fraud. But the question is, okay, so bank has existing systems. Why they cannot catch the new world of financial cybercrime? And the answer is because most of the existing systems are still based on rules, on signatures, on thresholds, on models. Even the best neural networks are still very limited. You know, neural networks are very smart, deep learning systems. I guess you hear those buzzwords. Very smart. So you show it 1 million pictures of a butterfly, it will identify all the butterflies in the world. But show it a scorpion or a snake, it will miss it. Nobody taught the system how snake looks like. Now banks, of course, cannot ignore this type of attempts because if it's money laundered, they will pay billions of dollars of fines. So they do what they call anomaly detection. Basically, show me everything that is not a butterfly. And then they have huge number of false alarms. If you ever traveled and tried to use your credit card and it didn't work and you get this SMS saying, is it you? That's false alarm. Costs a lot of money to banks. Some banks have 20,000 people dealing with false alarms. And by the way, even if some bank managed to write a rule, the pace of change is so fast that the bad guys immediately find a way to circumvent the rule. And one of my customers, CEO of one of the largest banks, probably the largest bank in the world, told me that they feel like they come with a knife to a gunfight. This is a story he told me, I don't know if it's true. World War I, the best army was a Polish army, the best muskets, best horses, and German came with first version of tanks. It wasn't a good, happy end for Polish guys. How did we solve the problem? So 2 professors that founded this company, Professor Koifman from Yale, recipient of Golden Medal of Science by President Clinton, 20 years on the advisory board of DARPA, and Professor Averbuch, Columbia University, 10 years in T.J. Watson Center of Excellence, IBM in New York, now Tel Aviv University, developed platforms that allows computer to mimic human intuition. You know, for us as human beings, it's very easy to exercise our intuition. If you, for example, send a kid to a new school, after a few days, your kid will know exactly who are good guys and who are bad guys. You don't need to teach them. Computers couldn't do it. Now we can, we have the patents, and we deploy the system in the largest banks in the world. It actually connects the dots. It looks at all the combination of information, using common sense, using gut feelings that we convert into formulas. And just a few examples where our system is successful, where existing systems failed. And again, our customers are Citigroup and Santander and ABN AMRO and BNP Paribas, and I see some people from Asia, overseas Chinese bank. Many of them publish the fact that they work with us proudly. So for example, we took a system, anti-money laundry, and we discovered a network of hundreds of thousands of people financing ISIS. They were literally getting commands from some computer telling them how much money they need to donate. 13 euros, 25 US dollars, always below the radar, but a lot of money being laundered this way. By the way, in this case, they knew exactly how the existing system was working, which was moving average, so they slowly pushed up the numbers so they could launder more and more money. We discovered it, we were very proud, we discovered money that was used to, it's terrible to talk about it, we used to sell girls from certain countries and traffic them. So it's a big issue. ATMs, I don't have time to tell you how it's done, but it's very easy. Over $1 billion have been stolen from ATMs without even using credit cards. When we use artificial intelligence, or intuitive artificial intelligence as we call it, we get results that are very interesting. Our banks, which are the largest banks in the world, not only discover between 3 to 6 times more issues that before they couldn't discover, but we also reduce the level of false alarms by 100 times. And by the way, for all of us who believe in intuition, they know that, is it working? That's exactly what happens to us as human beings. It looks like it doesn't work, right? Oh yes, is it so? Good. So can you hear me still? I can tell you one thing. You know, OurCrowd can tell you that we raised quite a large amount of money. Banks pay us a lot of money. But the great pleasure of running this company is we really make the world a much, much safer place. And John Medved talked about investment and impact investment. It's great not only to make money, but also to make good. So thank you very much.